Hi guys, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Natasha.
And we were wondering.
Are you free for coffee?
Welcome, welcome. You guys, by now,
Yes.
we've all seen Forever, Netflix's Forever, which is a story about first
Young love.
love.
Yeah.
First
Young love.
love.
Yeah.
Now, it's an adaptation of Judy Blume's young adult novel of the same title, Forever, which I read in high school, y'all. So that means it's 100 years old, is what that means. Of
It's
course,
existing.
It was not African American.
No, not the way it was written.
Protagonist. It was white folks. It was, and I did love it. I'm not,
Yeah.
it was.
It probably didn't take away from how good the story
I
was.
think I was a senior. I can't remember, but I was in high school, and we all loved it. Everybody was reading it. And it's kind of spicy, and back then there wasn't a whole lot of spice.
Yeah.
So it was, your first love, first sexual awakening.
Yeah.
So when I heard that they were doing, I thought, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
how fun. But it's so beautifully
I love the cast.
done.
Yeah, it is.
Y'all, the cast is so wonderful. So the two young lovers are Keisha and Justin. That's their names. Keisha's a track star that has transferred from one private school where she had a full scholarship to another private school because of a sex tape.
And this is at high school level.
This is high school. Yeah. That her previous boyfriend leaked. So that's kind of the gist of it. Yeah. There's lots of things swirling about that. There are, just like young people that age have to make really important decisions. There's decisions about college or not college, or what you're going to do, and what's your hopes and dreams, and your plan. How am I going to get from point A to point B?
Yeah.
So all that is going on in a African American setting, which is so interesting and so well done.
It is. It's believable.
It's so believable.
Yeah.
All the friends, those people.
Yes.
The mamas, those people. The daddy,
the best friend,
Keisha's
best friend, Chloe. Like you know it.
What I do love about it is all the parents not only love the children, but they are doing the best they can and doing good jobs.
Yes.
They really are.
And it's a realistic approach to like parenting and their relationships.
They have different styles.
They do.
Because
Dawn and Eric are very different.
Justin's parents. Those are his parents who have a very good marriage.
Eric. I love
but they're
Eric.
She's a little helicoptery, a little bit.
Yeah.
And while he is very responsible in making him be accountable, making him do the right thing, be a man, do those things, he's a little more letting him have a little space. Like, let him be a man, let him grow up. So they have very different styles, but they both want the best for him. They're just going about it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to see that dynamic.
And they have to work through their differences too.
Right. And her mom is a single mom who is working 2 and 3 jobs to pay for this tuition for this new school.
Yeah.
And she loves Keisha. She wants the best for her.
She working doesn't know why Keisha transferred
to get her there.
Yeah.
So that's a
whole thing.
There's just it's so nuanced, but
Shelly, her mom's name is Shelly.
And okay, y'all, do you remember her from Mindy Project, the Mindy Project? She was in there. She was
and she's
I can't remember her name on there, but she was so funny and cute. She's still adorable, but you'll recognize her from that. Justin's upper middle class family, they are pushing him to get into a top tier school. That's
is where his mom went. So it's kind of that legacy feeling.
Right. That's his ticket out. Not out, but to a good life.
To be on his way.
They just want him to have a good life, and we all get that. Okay, but y'all, let's take a moment for this house.
We already knew what was
for the Lisa's house. Okay, it's a mid-century modern,
which is not always Lisa's thing.
What's her? Okay, we gotta. Natasha does it. She does our tech stuff. When we did the episode about Ubo, when she was a psychiatrist, we'll tag it.
Yes, it's in that same neighborhood,
right?
So that's
it's that same kind of a house. Although, of course, that
the Residence
storyline
was the name of the show.
No, not that one. Well, I mean, she was in that one.
Oh, okay. Wait.
The one on Max where she was on
HBO.
She was
like
a psychologist. Yes.
Yeah.
And the people were coming because it was during COVID. They were coming to her home.
Okay,
course,
my bad.
You know, she's
Different
a single woman. It was more feminine.
Yeah.
It was you know, the color palette or whatever.
House, though,
this is a little is more. It looks like a home where boys are, honestly. I mean,
does.
Beautiful,
it
but
does.
you know, very
not
neutral,
overtly manly, but neutral,
hardier.
Yeah, it is,
but gorgeous, and the art. Yeah, y'all, the art is what
gets you, because you're looking over their shoulders trying to see, like, wait, what is this?
Yeah, move over a little bit.
Yeah, like move the
over.
Camera.
Let me see.
Yes, yeah. But you fall in love with that.
Okay, y'all, we're giving a shout out to Home and Texture.
Yes.
This is, if you love Homeworthy, you love the potted boxwood. There's several different ones that do home tours. This is another one, but it's African American people in their homes, which is so interesting. Well, they did a kind of behind the scenes of Forever and talking about this home, the design, how it moves the story.
Yes,
because the design plays into it. You see
the difference in how they live. You see the difference in their personalities by the way their spaces are set up,
by who these people are. It does play into
the
story.
Mom and dad have very different backgrounds, and you can tell, and you can kind of see it in spaces that you feel like she's curated versus the dad. Like they do a really good job of helping round out your knowledge of the characters based on the design, based on their spaces. They do.
Yes.
And Home and Texture, that is their website, but also Home and Texture on Instagram. You can follow them at Home and Texture.
And they have a YouTube where you can look at the
and you can enter your home. You can enter
your home. But they have a whole article, and we will tag that particular article about Forever. But the one piece that I just adore is a photograph by Orlando-born artist Jasmine Johnson. It's called Willie's Melons. It's a truck with these watermelons on it, which I love. It would be so gorgeous in the kitchen, but it's sold out, y'all. So we need a petition that please reprint this thing. Please
help my friend buy this.
It's so cute and very inexpensive.
It is.
They have a smaller one that's very, which
and
actually
the one that you see on the show, it's large, and they have the large one too. But
but either one of them, it's not terribly expensive for art.
You know what it kind of brings you, and I mean, some of it is that we live in Texas and we've driven through Southern. You drive by, you see like a truck of peaches or a truck of watermelons, and it kind of gives you that. And I don't think you get that everywhere,
right?
So I feel like that brought that home for them, and then also just the love of food. So the dad, Eric, who I love. We love Eric. Reminds me of an ex of mine. He's very. It reminds me of this one particular person.
He's very street smart.
He is,
which you appreciate about him, especially in this situation. Yes. Some of the things he does.
He's a chef, so some of their love language is food. So the watermelon truck makes you think about that. The dad is a chef, and the mom is more on the business side, so that it plays into their strengths and where they're different. And I do. Willie's Melons it's cute.
I just love really that piece of art. There's just so many nods to African American culture. In it on all sides.
Yes.
You know, just the parties, the friends.
Yes.
The
their pastimes, what they
the
do.
music.
Yeah.
The music.
Oh my gosh.
You'll recognize a lot of the music.
The hair.
The
jewelry.
Going to get your hair done. That was cute. The braid shop, the nails.
Excuse me.
So
Tiffany asked me if you could cut down the music. Tell her fine ass I'll cut it off. I was like, wait.
It's so y'all. You just,
and you know what? It wasn't a very. Sometimes I think as Black people, when we see productions that are the supposed depiction of Black culture, it feels so zhuzhed up. Like it's so extra. It's so like, no, this just felt like watching folks we know.
Right. That's
because
the beauty
sometimes
of it.
It's real animated or decorated or
there's amplified.
Yes, it's like amplified, and it's a bit of a facade.
Rap, everybody's doing,
and we're not. That's what I love about the mom, because the mom, her style is more like your style. When she was in the bed, I was like, okay, this is something Lisa would pick out. Like,
but
you see yourself.
I just love the house, and I love the nods.
And the vacation home. The vacation one is
okay. They go.
Where do they go?
Oak Bluffs. They go to Martha's Vineyard, but if you know, you know. there is an area in Martha's Vineyard where African Americans have gone for years and
Decades and decades.
years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And family homes and things,
It's
and that's where they go.
beautiful.
And
It's beautiful.
it's a beautiful home
Property.
that
Yeah.
a group of friends get together and they're going
Yes.
on vacation.
Yes.
It's lovely. They're there for some, I don't know, weeks maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever, a bit.
They spend their time in the vineyard,
right?
right?
So that's really telling.
And then they come home and he has this big surprise, and
yes,
and I just it's real. Like it is the life that many of us live, or we know people that live that life. It's not so disconnected.
Both of the lives.
Yeah.
Shelley.
Yeah.
And or have been Shelley,
and
sometimes
Eric
you've known both.
Yeah.
You've gone through all that transition,
Yes.
And this is what I love, because a lot of shows and novels and in real life, sometimes those two women would be pitted against each other.
Yes. You know what it is?
And that's what they weren't.
If you were like me and you at any point in your young adulthood, or maybe your adulthood now, if you liked Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, specifically James, if you liked Uncle Phil, this is probably the best depiction of Black adulthood since Uncle Phil. I remember when they would do the flashbacks and it showed where Vivian and Phil started, and how they wanted their kids to have more, but they didn't want them to be disconnected, and not so much the comedy, right? Like take the comedy out of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But I remember that was the first time I saw someone struggle with the idea of leaving behind who they were to become who you're going to be. And there's a lot of that for all people, for all races, but we just don't see it depicted with Black and brown people. Right. I would say this is the best depiction of Black family life, Black culture, Black adversity that I've seen in many, many, many years.
I love, they're not, I wouldn't go so far as say friends, the two moms.
Yeah.
But
no, it's honest though.
No,
they have kids that know each other.
Right.
That's what they
are.
So
it's that friendly acquaintance type thing.
Yes.
But in other storylines, you would see them like, I can't stand this, whatever. And the mom would be against a girl and judging her about the thing. But there was such understanding and such, what's the word? I mean, a rally around this situation.
Because their camaraderie was, wait, so Keisha's been walking with this pain by herself?
Yeah, instead of they kind of started off judging,
they started out
which
like
we
mamas,
all do,
like mamas
which we all do. Like what
she
happened?
said, I saw that heifer.
Yes,
I said, wait.
Like any young love, it fits and starts. It's breakups and makeups and all the drama of high school love.
Yes,
but they do really rally. She rallies around her mom.
Yes.
She rallies around this girl that had something very traumatic
that she had to carry by herself.
And in this day and age, which we didn't have internet, so that wasn't a problem, taking pictures or doing anything. So
better look at me and
memorize it. Yeah. But now it is.
Yeah.
And it's trusting someone you shouldn't trust. And doing stupid stuff, and even the boy,
and you know what?
And
guys,
I hate to say it wasn't maliciousness.
It wasn't.
It was
stupidity. It was ignorance. It was stupidity.
It was young stupidity. It was trying to stunt, trying to prove who you are, who you
even
say
he
you
wasn't
are.
like the bad guy. Like, of course, you're upset at the whole thing. You're upset she's walking through this by herself, but it was not a revenge porn thing.
No,
it was not that at
like
all.
I'm being mean and trying to get back at you for something. It was not that. It was stupid. It was really stupid. And it was also, which is often the case, always the case now, sadly, the girl pays.
Yes.
I mean, they were both there.
Yes.
I mean, this has been since the Bible, and they bring the woman out in adultery. You ain't adultering by yourself. But we don't know who the man is.
Now she getting stoned to death, and he looking crazy.
He's hopping and skipping to the next town.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing. She's ostracized, talked about, rumors, all the things. And so bullied that she has to go to another school. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, he is still there.
He's the cool guy,
basketball player. And it doesn't blow back on him, even though he was the one that leaked it.
Which is why this is a good one to let your younger kids watch.
Yes. Cautionary tale. This is why you don't do this. Yes. And then for your boys to point this out. Do you see that if you do something like this, this is going to be her problem.
Yeah, this is the impact.
Just like with teenage pregnancy, even though, I mean, the boy did it and hopefully
but
he's responsible.
Comes home with the baby?
Who's got the baby?
Who has the baby?
Who has to have the baby? Who has to raise all the things? So it's a good tale for both boys and girls to see, and to see how serious the consequences are.
Because you think it's something smaller, it's not a big deal, but it is. It is a big deal.
And you trying to stunt in front of your friends and tell them what all you doing and that.
And he wasn't even. Oh, it was the way it's crafted, the way it's written, because he was not being malicious at all.
It's boys bragging.
That's all
which
it
is
was.
what they do, and not even
throwing her under the bus.
Not even so much like you know how they are cars and oh no, I got the fastest, I got the biggest,
I got those Jordans, I got those.
It's that. Was all it was. It's that, and then in this day and age where kids, I think, have sex is more open
than it was. Yeah,
before we were ashamed. Like I mean, if you you know,
like I have don't to tell you something, but you can't tell anyone.
Right. So it's not that they have a
they brag about it now.
A healthy sex drive and things. I mean, it is what it is, but the consequences still are the girls to hold, and that's sad but true.
But that's where we are.
And so you need to tell both your boys and girls, and boys to be responsible, respectful, and protective of this person.
Which admittedly, Justin did such a good job of that. Of holding space for her,
10 toes down. Wasn't he
was he was a sweetheart.
Holding her up, validating her, not
letting
her
hold space for not judging her for what happened,
and just being completely.
It was really good. And this is not to throw Christian under the bus. I don't want us to give away all the details because I want you all to watch it.
No, he wasn't a bad guy.
But he wasn't a bad guy.
He's a kid. They're all kids, and they're making their way.
Yes.
And I think that was the beautiful depiction of young love. There are fits and starts. There are makeups and breakups and miscommunication and what did you mean and trusting someone and sexual discovery.
Yeah.
And it's about finding yourself while you're finding love. That's really what it is.
And being responsible.
Because you're doing these big things. I'm trying to discover who I am.
Simultaneously. You're trying
who
to figure
I want to be.
Yes.
And I remember a friend and we were talking, Gone with the Wind. We read like, who would you want to be, Melanie or Scarlett? That's the thing. Scarlett was having a lot of fun.
She was.
But Melanie was that, moral
compass
code, and she did the right thing always. And that's kind of it. Who do I want to be? And that's what young people, even some big people, are doing.
Yes.
But you're doing it against this backdrop of love, of first love, and I don't know what
and
the
big
hell
emotions,
I'm doing.
And I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know how to talk to someone and reveal myself and all the things. So it's such a beautiful depiction of that, which the book was too.
Okay.
I still recommend the book.
I have not read the book, guys.
It's great. It's still in Judy Blume, who always has, she's a lovely author and of young
literature,
things, young people and their lives. So I would recommend it, and I can imagine. I
feel like this was timely. This was timely. If you are familiar with the Dallas-Fort Worth area, then over by one of Inwood's biggest shopping centers is Henry W. Longfellow, and the school has been there for a very long time. I went to, that was my junior high school, and I just went because they are demolishing it. They've built a new one, and so they built a new one where we used to play as kids, and now this is going to be, the parking lot and all the jazz. As Dallas,
they're kind of doing that now. I don't
That's
know,
what they do.
Town, they kind of where the grass play area, they start building.
They erect the new one. Yes,
old one is going, and then they demolish it. Yeah.
So we got to go, and they give you markers, and you can write messages on the walls because it's getting demoed.
Oh,
and so it was so
nobody
fun.
Will see it.
And so of course we're there, and they had different color name badges for when you were there. Well, this school was open a long time ago, So they had people who attended in the 50s and 60s.
Wow.
No, 40s through 50s.
It was one of the first integrated schools.
It was. That's correct. It's a career school. So they had like 40s and 50s, 60s and 70s, 80s and 90s, which was mine, and then like 2000. So they were all different colors. So if you saw someone with your color, you knew that y'all were there around together. The same time. Yeah. And so, you're kind of reading the walls and seeing if you recognize a name or whatever. And Lisa knows this whole little story. I just was so much like this story. I was so in love with my middle school crush, whose name I will not share, but I was so in love, and I went into the place where we would sneak to make out, and how strongly Justin felt for Keisha made sense to me, because 30 years later, I'm in this space, which I guess I can say it now, it's the band closet, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, I remember that feeling of like, oh, meet me there at this time, or you get slipped a note, or you go, whatever the thing is that it was. And it feels, in that moment, you don't think anything else matters. Like, you're so in it, but you're trying to figure out who you are and what you want to be. And like in Keisha's case, her dad, while alive, wasn't around. And so her and Justin had a different upbringing. And then Christian was like the big guy in terms of basketball. Like, he's the next LeBron. So everybody wants Christian. And then you're having to ask yourself, wait, why don't I want to be with Christian? Because everybody else wants
Christian betrayed me.
Well, yes. Well, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, all the peer pressure surrounding that.
And the pressure
her
from
mom
your
was
parents.
Pressuring her. Yeah.
Well, both sets of parents. Because they were
true.
pressuring Justin, who has ADHD. So he kind of struggles with his schoolwork. To go to a certain school to be a certain thing,
and he had a totally different passion that was unrelated.
And then her mom was be with the cute guy, which Natasha and I relate to, because our moms are kind of in that same age bracket. That a man, we're back to Jane Austen, where a man will fix everything, and that's kind of what they grew up in.
And it's so funny because we have an age gap, but our mom's age gap is small. Because my mom was old, y'all. Like, my mom is older. So I was older when I came along,
but it's not huge.
They're not
difference.
Real far.
So
and even recently, guys, my mom is telling my ex-husband, y'all, this the other day, she's telling my ex-husband, oh, I'm just worried about Natasha. So I'm kind of listening, like, what you worried for? I'm doing good.
Cool.
Yeah, like, what are we worried for? I thought it was a lineup for a joke. And she's just like, well, she doesn't want to get remarried anytime soon. And I'm just, and
she says it like it's a bad thing.
Child, like, I'm just gonna fall out. And to my ex-husband's credit, he was dropping the kids off when this conversation happened. And to his credit, he was like, because she doesn't need to. Like, she's a catch. So if she wants to, she can. If she doesn't want to, she don't have to. She can stand on her own.
And how that doesn't solve
she's doing good.
Really anything.
It doesn't solve anything. And so I kind of, I told him, I said, hey, I heard you talking to my mom. And he was like, oh, okay. Because he was kind of nervous. I was like, no, I appreciate it. But even now, I'm 40 years old, and my mom's like, oh no, she's not going to get married. It's
that was kind of Keisha's mom.
It was.
It's just like, you're being with the cool guy,
with Keisha's
mom,
And this is where maybe they don't learn it. You being with Keisha's dad didn't fix your life.
Well,
it didn't.
But then her dad wasn't the
Oh,
star.
That's true.
That's true. He was an athlete, but it wasn't the star.
She glorified the personification of Christians.
Yes,
that's true.
Go ahead and ride that train.
But it's very common. It's common in all communities. Black, brown,
yellow,
white.
That's just a woman thing. And
a man.
Sadly, for many years, and in the not too distant past,
that was the case.
You had to have a man for a lot of things.
But thank you for your
you
quote.
You couldn't have a credit card. You couldn't buy a property.
Oh, yes.
There were some things that you needed a man for. So in their defense, they that's the life that they were in.
Yes.
So, they don't know anything else. They kind of pass that on.
They don't.
So Keisha's mom was kind of in that a little bit. And
Keisha's mom isn't the bad guy either, guys.
No,
it wasn't that.
That's what I love too.
Yeah,
nobody was like really
no
bad guys. There weren't.
Well, that life is circumstance.
Well, there's some bad guys.
There are some.
There's plenty. I hate to say that.
There's plenty, but
this wasn't one of them.
But honestly, a lot of life's headaches, you think, fuck, it's just the circumstance.
Yes.
Now, not that there's no villains, because baby, I got a list of some folks I could out.
Sometimes there, but this wasn't that. This wasn't a case of that.
And it was well depicted. It was what you face. God, they're so cute. Keisha is cute to me.
They're adorable.
Baby
Both
Keisha's
of them are cute.
earrings are, oh my God. Justin is
my
handsome. That's a
mind,
handsome
we're
little boy.
calling them their name in the show. I don't know their
Oh, I didn't write down their real names.
I didn't, y'all.
I didn't.
We'll post.
Yeah, we'll post.
But
the
he
characters.
is from Dallas. Yeah.
Woo woo, Dallas, Texas.
Yeah. So
yes,
he's
a handsome little guy.
He portrays the shy, quiet,
in love.
I'm kind of nervous because he doesn't have. He's cute as he can be, but he just doesn't have a lot of swag, mm-hmm. and a lot of popular capital.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He really just doesn't.
He does.
So he portrays that so well.
He does.
And
he portrayed being in young love.
Yes.
He has it written on his face in such
and
a
the way
real,
he looks at her.
Yes, I was just so
sweet. And him too.
I agree.
She's a little more confident, and some of that comes from her trauma.
Yeah.
She's been through some stuff.
That's
so when you go through some
she's
stuff,
had to grow up.
She had to be an adult.
And as a child, she had to grow up and be a child where he didn't have that so much.
No,
and so but then his whimsical nature, she needs that softness. It's a great depiction. It is a great.
They both did a great job.
It was good. I loved it.
I hope they win something.
And it got renewed.
It got renewed. So there's season 2,
yes.
which is so good. Of course, the book ends like this ends, mm-hmm. but I'm not going to spoil it for you. But it ends like this ends.
But we have a season 2 coming.
But there's a season 2,
yes.
and of course you can see where
the direction.
This could go.
Yeah.
We'll follow them, and I think, with young love, if you don't fall out, I hate you, MF way.
Oh,
there's always a tug there. So you can see the in and out of it. Yeah. You can see how it, all the things could play off. Uh-huh. But it's kind of sweet because back in my wedding planning days, I did a wedding for a friend's daughter who married her high school boyfriend. Okay. And they went to separate colleges,
a little
way away. They never, to my knowledge, really broke up. But I mean, it is what it is. You are across the country, so right. It wasn't. And I don't want to misspeak because I don't know how that worked or what their arrangement was. Right. But they married and are still married, have 2 beautiful children. So that young love, if that works, it's so beautiful, and it is so strong. It is
like I said, you're in that moment and there's nothing else that matters. Bond. Yes, which is why teaching our children how to love properly is important.
It is,
because when you're young, you have never felt an emotion so strong. You've never felt that. You love your parents, you love your care provider, your guardian, whatever, from the beginning. You love your siblings from the beginning. It's kind of ingrained. That's the first time you love someone outside of your home, your circle.
And I think what parents do, we tend to diminish, kind of.
Like, and wasn't Eric the bomb? Love. Shout out to Eric, baby. I'd marry Eric, the dad.
Love, it's this. Oh. You can't diminish what they feel. The feelings are valid.
Yeah.
Where the disconnect is what you can do about it.
Did we learn anything
Which is
from
what I used to tell my kids too.
Like,
don't get really dating too heavy. Mm-hmm. When you can't go anywhere with this.
Yeah.
You just can't because you don't have a life.
This is the maximum. You don't have a home. You don't have a car.
Start to date when you see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And that, you see a plan
because then the potential can be realized.
Right. Because you're, otherwise it's so,
it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Because if you're the person on the other side,
because you can't,
you're frustrated because you can't do anymore. They're frustrated because the potential cannot be realized.
Right.
And that's where it gets real volatile. So, that's the thing.
They're kind of in that.
And Justin was more like innocent in his, so he kind of was like the why not, like why, he kind of wanted it. They both wanted it to work.
Keisha had was working her plan, and you got to give her that. I mean, she knew what she wanted to do, where she wanted to go. All the
shout out to Howard.
Yeah, Justin was a little more open,
but Justin had more options because of his parents standing.
Well, that's true.
Justin had more options. Keisha had to have a plan. She had to work the plan. She wanted to go to Howard. She wanted to be a bison. And
what she wanted to do is what she wanted to do. That was her passion.
Yeah,
he had not really found his yet. He thought there were some things that there were
things
he was
liked.
Good at. But he was kind of wavering
still.
A little bit. But it was so good,
guys.
y'all.
It's worth the watch. Again, Shout out to Home and Texture. If you
we'll
are,
tag
we'll tag everything.
We'll tag everything.
If
so
you are a Rotten Tomatoes person, because this is a big achievement for any film, this show currently, so we're still in May of 2025, has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's kind of hard to hit 90 on there. Well deserved. And so now we're going to talk to you a little bit. We've already shared that we want to start doing a series called Let Us Be Your Wingman. And this was inspired by a friend of mine who just is a good guy, and he just wanted to kind of wow his girlfriend, and it just became a joke. Like, I'm your wingman, you'll pay me in Starbucks gift cards, and I'll keep making sure that you're, boyfriend of the year over here. And so today's their tips. So today's Let Us Be Your Wingman tip is actually something Lisa does, y'all. And she's mentioned this in our Christmas episode.
Yeah, I've mentioned it a few times, but I'm going
to let Lisa talk about her Pinterest board idea.
Well, okay, I have to shout out. It was to a blogging friend.
Okay,
and we both like interiors, and that's kind of what we blogged about, our homes and things and decorating. But her spouse and kids would get the best gifts. I'm thinking nobody's husband or kids is thinking of this.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be antiques and little sweeties and things, and I mean, just out the ballpark. I was like,
you're like, how did they know this
happening? Yeah. And she said, oh, you know what I do? I have a Pinterest board of things that I like, places I want to go, what I want to do, collections I'd like to start, books I want to read, all kinds of things. So anytime they want to get a gift, Mother's Day, Christmas, birthday, whatever, just phone. A happy, they look at the pictures, and these are all the things she wants. So the beauty with that is, no matter the occasion and what you want to do, how much you want to spend, and she does all from $5 to $10,000, because her husband bought her a car that was on there. So I mean, it's a gamut.
Child, I'm not doing my life.
Yeah. So so there's all price ranges. Okay. I guess is what I'm saying. But the beauty of it is, even though it's on that board, you're still surprised because you don't know what, when, who is going to get it. Right. So, and you have a lot, you have hundreds and hundreds of things. So they have a whole lot to do and update it, as they buy stuff, take that off, put some other stuff. Well, I did it for my kids. I would just say, refer to my Pinterest board, which is,
what is the name
of that's the name of the board. You shouldn't have. But so tell your significant other, listen, when you have a spare moment, why don't you start a Pinterest board and just put everything that you like, all your favorite color, everything. Then
I want to learn
I have
about
a reference. I have a reference. I can go in there, and this is what she likes. This is where she wants to go. This is and it's magical.
It is.
So tell your person to do that, and you will have such a good cheat sheet.
You will.
And then it's
you'll probably learn things about them you didn't know.
Yes, you will.
You're giving them an outlet, because that can be kind of relaxing. Just kind of
it's fun.
Putting stuff. The whole thing is fun.
You're window shopping,
and now you don't have a plethora of ideas.
Yes,
you're no longer like, oh, I don't know.
And tell her arrange. I need a range. I need from.
I need your favorite pen to your favorite car.
Right. Like, and everything in between. Just Now,
don't say we didn't give y'all nothing.
Right.
Do you understand? Don't say I didn't give you anything.
I tell you, I was always surprised, because even though the stuff was
you
on there.
You kind of forget that you
but
do
it was
it,
like,
though.
oh my gosh, this is the whatever.
Yeah. I could see that.
It's so fun. And it's stuff, you want it, but don't want to spend the money. Maybe not. Right. But sure, I love it.
But you love it. Yeah.
Right. So
I would love to have this.
Yes.
So don't say we haven't given you anything.
That's y'all.
And that is our tip
about that. Yes. That's a great
tip. You can email us at areyoufreeforcoffee@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram at areyoufreeforcoffeepodcast. Tag us. I want to know if someone does that, because it is, when she first told me about it, I thought, oh my gosh.
It was.
And when you are the recipient, or if you're the giver, sometimes you are kind of like, oh, I don't want to ask. Like, it feels so on the nose. Like,
it's great for both sides.
Creeping up to their birthday.
They can just look, yes. I've got a budget.
Yes.
Let me look and see what's what.
Yeah. Let me see what she done dropped in here. And it may be something, even just to keep your eye out for something, because you may find something on sale that was on there, and you're like, oh, okay, wait, let me grab this while I can. Especially, I don't know, I'm just looking at I love my purse, guys, so I'm looking at it. If it's a purse, you could hold that. It's on sale right now, let me get it. I'm gonna hold this 2 months for whatever it gives you space to plan and to be ready. So just thank you for letting us be your wingman. So I think it's a very viable tip, and it's going to earn you some points.
It is.
That's going to earn you points no matter their love language.
When you do it, you will not disappoint. How wonderful this is, really, and how it makes your life much easier.
Yes. Just don't forget about us, y'all. Yes. Okay, loves, thank you for pulling up a chair and joining us for coffee. Please subscribe to Are You Free for Coffee podcast wherever you're listening. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode and find joy in the little things. Until next time.